move to this now. Joburg Emergency Services are once again warning about the dangers of fires. In the most recent incidents, 8 people have been killed in blazes in Alexandra, Orange Farm, Zandspruit and Soweto. They're urging residents to take precautions as they heat themselves in continuing cold conditions. So let's get more now from Mr. Robert Mulaudzi from the Joburg EMS, who joins me in studio for this update. Good morning to you. Thank you for your time.
Good morning, Astumelo and the viewers out there.
It's good to see you, but you're not bearing so much good news. 8 people killed in blazes. It seems oftentimes when it's the winter season, these tragic incidents happen.
Yeah, it looks like mostly in our city, because of the layout of the city. Most of our areas, the space, it's mostly informal settlements. We normally have an increase in terms of the number of fire incidents we receive normally during this time of winter. The reasons are that most of those residents are still using your, I would say, traditional heating devices like your paraffin stoves, your candles, your imbaula. So these kind of items are mostly used unsafely. Most of them are left unattended. Hence, we have an increase in terms of the number of maybe fatalities and also fire incidents which are reported. Now that we have a situation where we have also load shedding, we're also seeing an increase in terms of the number of fire incidents in our formal residential areas, because those residents also are tempted to use other heating devices. It can be candles, also paraffin stoves, gas heaters, and also gas stoves. So we are concerned. Hence, we are now intensifying our public education efforts to go out to those communities to educate them about this, the importance of them looking after these heating devices. We are going out to shopping malls. We have been also in a number of shopping malls in Lenasia, in Protea Glen, Protea Gardens Mall. We have been in Alexandra, Pan-African Mall. We also have been in Deep Slot Mall. So over and above the door-to-door campaigns which we are conducting, I mean, last week we were in Zandspruit where we actually lost 2 people there during a fire incident. So we're saying to our residents, let's try and make sure that we work together to prevent these fire incidents. And also lately, we've seen an increase in terms of the number of fatalities concerning young kids, young children between the ages of 2 and 9, they're 10, whereby they are left at home unattended, like what we have witnessed in the inner city at the Florence Nightingale building, where we lost 2 kids there. So our message to say to the parents out there, the adults out there, let's make sure that now that is school holidays, the kids are at home, let's make sure that we don't leave them inside the buildings or at home, where they will be tempted to prepare food and things like that, so that we can be able to prevent fire incidents like the ones we're having now. And
Robert, some of those safety tips that we should remember. I mean, sometimes we may take it for granted that, of course, I know I have to switch off my stove after cooking, but we need to constantly remind ourselves, be in conversation as a family, as a community, to remind ourselves. What are some of those key important safety tips for us to remember during this time?
To make sure that when we are using heaters, we don't leave them unattended, and then we also don't leave them like in a room without no one inside that room. And also these are items as and when we're moving them, because we've seen that most of the fires are caused by candles. We must not use beer bottles or cold drink bottles as candle holders. Let's try and use them safely. We've got a very simple way of using a candle, where you just take your old peanut butter or coffee jar, the one which you can break. You just clean it up, you fill 3/4 of it with sand, and then you cut your candle into half. So as you stick it in that glass jar, you light it. So as the candle burns, as soon as it reaches where the sand is, then it extinguishes itself. And then also that jar, it actually creates the room, makes the room much more brighter than. And also you're saving, because the candle is not going to burn much more quicker. So even if maybe accidentally that candle falls, the jar will fall, and then that sand inside will extinguish that fire incident. We have seen now lately, you see those 2 plates spirals, the plates. We've seen now an increase in terms of the number of people who are selling them, like outside on the streets. Our residents are buying those 2-plate spirals, and they're using a shovel too. They put it on top of a shovel and they cook like a meal at home, and then they eat, serve at home. So we are saying that kind of idea, that idea is very dangerous. You might actually have a fire incident, and also there's a possibility of electrocution, you know, as and when you are trying to cook, preparing those meals at home. So those are some of the messages we're taking out to our communities as and when we go out to our door-to-door campaigns, our mall campaigns, and also, most importantly, we've got Be Safe centers, which are spread in all 7 regions of the city.
Right.
These centers are specially designed for communities to visit. They come in there for free. They get, you know, basic firefighting training, first aid training, all,
That's
you know,
good.
life and fire safety educational training, which will make sure that we prevent this kind of incidents. So we've got a central reservation number which our communities can call on 011-758-5050, and we can be able to come to where they are. And also, they are allowed to visit these areas which are spread across the city of Johannesburg.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and speaking to us about this.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you very
important
much.
because we're saving lives through, of course, you raising awareness today. Robert Mulaudzi, Joburg EMS, joining us today. Understandably, cold weather conditions, but let's still keep safe as we try and keep warm in our homes. All right.